So I'm going to head towards the man with a cross. What's he saying about today? Oh, don't want to get in the way of anyone. Hello, excuse me, mate. I wanted to ask a couple of questions today of what you're protesting, why you're here today.
We are here to basically protest mass migration, the cultural destruction and dismantlement of Britain and its sovereign nations, the deracination of other people, and for my grandchildren, you know, eventually when...
Why the cross?
It's my burden to bear, right?
Yeah?
This is a Christian country, and even though I have not always historically been Christian, I believe in the values that Christianity proposes. You know, the decay, moral decay, and the absence of it is only testament to the fact that clearly it did bind us as a civilization, as a society.
Okay. So you think Christian values, as fundamentally they're the basis of English society, that's
of Western civilization,
Western
yes.
civilization. So you want to get back to more of that, and at the moment you're not happy with the landscape of how it is?
I'm definitely not happy with the current or trajectory we're on. I'm not necessarily for a complete and utter swing back to like Old Testament values, but certainly we need to become more attuned to Christian values, which has been lost and has been actually removed from our normal lives and even our schools. And we can find a good, healthy balance.
Okay. So if there was something you could do from today's protest, what we're trying to achieve, what could be something we could all go away and action from today?
That's a big one, isn't it? Learn your history.
Okay.
That's a big one, because we've been atomized and we've been cut off from our history, and that is always the aim of the left. If you sever people from their history, they don't know who they are, and when you lose who you are, they can turn you into what they want you to be.
Okay.
So if you remember your history, learn your history, you will do right by your children, because remember what our friend Orwell said: he who controls the present controls the past, who controls the present controls the future.
Okay.
Paraphrasing there slightly, but if we lose sight of where we have come from, it sounds cliched, but you will lose control of where you are going.
Okay.
So learn your history.
I actually agree with a lot there. A lot of people say that there's pros and cons of mass migration, any kind of immigrants coming across at all anyway. Obviously, so I'm trying to be as neutral as I can today, going around and getting as much information. What would you say to those people who are then going, but there's a lot of positives and there's a lot of good things that come around from it? Would you strike a middle ground? Are you thinking it's more one way than the other? What's your opinion?
Migration is itself not an evil thing. Obviously, the left have tried to argue that because the English people, and myself, I'm not English, I am a product of, you know, some form of migration. I'm German, Danish, and a couple of others. But obviously, historically, people have moved here. You know, the English are Anglo-Saxon Celts, a little bit of Viking or Dane, Nordic, whatever you want to call them, some Norman as well. But migration itself is a good thing. Mass migration is a weapon of war. It is a weapon of erasure and basically a soft form of genocide. Every historical precedent of mass migration has led to utter ruin and collapse of the civilizations who experienced that influx. So one example, again, debatable whether it was inherently a mass migration event, but a mass exodus and movement of people, the sea peoples in the Bronze Age, led to the collapse of the East Mediterranean civilizations, from Mycenaean Greece to the Middle East and, you know, what we call now the area of Israel, Jordan, Syria, and very nearly destroyed old Egypt. So it has clearly been used, despite the arguments that it was for economic purposes, you know, to prop up GDP and secure the pensions of certain demographics. It has clearly been used as a weapon to subjugate Western civilizations, crashing down or making sure that your incomes fall, your wages are suppressed, and with it has come this system of cultural destruction and erasure of what is Western civilization. This idea that all people are equal is just false. Quite simply put, we're not all equal. Does not mean that people are inherently evil.
Where would you draw the line between not all people are equal then? Where would you make that distinction?
Sorry, just repeat that slide.
When you said that we're not inherently all equal, then where would you draw that distinction? Where do you get that difference from?
Quite simply, time and space means that if I was born in another place, I would believe in different things. Does that mean, therefore, I can just move to China and not become part of their culture? Would I be able to be who I am in China and start telling them that they have to accommodate me? What do you think will happen? If I go to Saudi Arabia and break through the border, they will machine gun me. So I cannot go to another country and tell them, you have to make sure that I am accommodated for.
So it's not just a financial strain put onto the systems in the country. It's more the cultural difference and the clash of that.
It is both. There is definitely this sort of strange accumulation of different agendas coming together, where there is enormous profit to be made from this chaos, as well as creating a new worker class. This idea of a globalist, no one belongs anywhere, and especially not European people or people of European descent. You can belong anywhere, which means workers can be just used on a spreadsheet and said, right, we need more people here because the population has created an up-top heavy pyramid, so we need to prop up the system there because there's not enough young people working to support an aging population. What's going to happen when that population phases out? What happens when that age demographic cohort disappears? Now you're left with essentially what's going to happen here in 30 years' time. We'll see 50% English at best, if not even worse. And then maybe even just 60% European. So that includes all the people who have moved here, Poles, Romanians, French, German, Danish, other people who are in a country that has now totally been utterly recreated. What's going to happen after that?
Can I stand in and take a video of that, please? Thank you very much.
So is it fair to say your main concern then is preserving what you're classifying as English British culture then?
Absolutely. I believe, Tibet for the Tibetans, Bhutan for the Bhutanese, Japan for the Japanese, Saudi Arabia for the Arabians, every country, and Nigeria for the Nigerians, every country has the right to protect their cultural heritage and identity. Why not the Europeans?
And what do you think would be a good step in, if we're not feeling that at the moment? Obviously there's a lot of people out here today. What do you think they can do, or what do you think the government can do to make them feel that the British person's being put in first then?
Well, from a slightly outside perspective, stop giving away our entire historical wealth that has been built by centuries of people who've worked for their descendants away to people who have literally just come. Even in the last 10, 20 years, starting even before Blair, we can't blame it all on him, but he certainly didn't help. But, there are people clearly here of different backgrounds who are here to support Britain and what it stands for. That's why I'm here, because I want my children and his children to have the same quality of life and not have to fear, like, for example, the many Jewish or Iranian people who are here, because they're under attack by foreign ideologies that are utterly antithesis to ours. Islam, for example, in both Israel and Iran, has utterly destroyed the cultural heritage of the Persian people, and Israel constantly lives under threat of invasion, as we saw 2 years ago. And not just invasion, but being encircled and attacked by 7 countries, as happened 40 years ago.
I've got one more question because I'm conscious of taking up too much of your time. What does Britain stand for then? Obviously, a lot of this is a little bit of identity, and if the population actually aligns with what we're doing as a country. What do you think that message is? What do we stand for as a country?
That's a very tricky one, because it depends who you ask. A culture of a people is the accumulated actions and beliefs of that people. So Britain, without going into the sort of ridiculous rhetoric of Starmer saying, tolerance and things like that. Yes, tolerance is part of a wider Christian value, but Britain's history is so complex and it's interwoven with Christian, Anglo-Saxon and other belief systems that over time have evolved. What that exactly is, I probably cannot tell you. But I know that it certainly does not mean the cultural erasure and replacement and leaving our children with a broken third world country that happened to South Africa and Rhodesia.
Yeah, that's pretty round up.